Finding ourselves with a spare afternoon, me and my fishing buddy Lee thought we would pop down to Furnace Brook Fishery in Cow Beach. I think undoubtedly one of the most picturesque day ticket waters in the area, and a truly mixed fishery. You never quite know what you're going to get. And this occasion got torrential rain as soon as we got down to the stream. And luckily, we was quite as soon as the rain eased off, I was off up the bank, introducing pellet into any sort of likely looking spots. And surprisingly, it didn't take long for a few carp to turn up and start mopping up the floating baits. I tend to avoid ornamentals, so the ghosty got let off, but there was a mirror and a common down there as well that started taking, but by the time I'd gone and got my rod and tackled up, they disappeared. Meanwhile, the rain had eased off, and Lee, who'd been steadily plugging away with a method feeder, was into the first fish of the afternoon. A long, lean fighting machine of a carp. The chickens have got a bit of a protection racket going, so I paid them off to see if it would help with my fishing luck, and then went trotting off up the margins again, where I found another group of carp had found the floating biscuit that I'd put out. But these fish were very close to a lily pad, so it was going to be a hit and hold scenario, which almost immediately turned into a hit and miss scenario as I failed to hook up properly. But these things happen in fishing, but not to Lee, whose method spot was now produced another fish, which initially he thought was a tench, but then revealed itself to be a turbocharged grass carp, which unusually for a grass carp was putting up a tremendous scrap. And was no mean feat of angling skill to land on a size 16 hook and 3-pound hook link. But it shows the sort of results that you can get at Furnace Brook if you take the time to build a swim up and just regular recasting of a method feeder. The fish was pushing mid doubles. I think it was actually a PB for Lee. In fantastic condition, and it went back nice and strong, which is always good with grass carp. So I was now playing catch up, because in our competitions we base them entirely on the number of fish caught, so free lining maggot in the margins. Made the score 2-1 with this lovely little rudd. Beautiful olive back into gold with orange fins. They do go a lot bigger in here, but they're cracking looking fish. And it also has quite a reputation for being very good for winter roach. My PB has come from here, although it's not this particular roach. But that roach drew me level. It was now 2-2 in the fish stakes. The Lee's spot was continuing to produce, and now the bream had moved in, which is really what he'd set out to catch in the first place. And he was starting with a little skimmer. I thought it was time I went and caught a proper fish, so I went back up the bank again, found some carp, and this time I actually managed to hook one and keep it on for longer than 2 seconds. Now, as I say, it's Furnace Brook is a true mixed fishery, and we don't normally fish it for carp. We normally fish it for the bream and the silvers. But due to the inclement weather, we had the lake to ourselves, so it would have been remiss to not take advantage of being able to stalk up and down the margins and try and winkle a few out. Everything held firm this time, and managed to get a nice chunky common in the net, and more importantly draw the scores back to 3-3. But Lee was looking smug because he'd now caught a popper bream, and 4-3 to him. So while he was distracted, I took my ledger rod and cast out as close to his spot as I could for last knockings, and it paid off because I got a take, again hoping it would be a tench, and again realising that it wasn't a tench. It was in fact another carp, and I don't think we've caught this many carp from this water in an afternoon for many years. It's normally the tench, the roach and the bream that we get. But the carp were obviously on the feed. And this was a small ghost carp. But a lovely looking fish, and a nice way to round off a couple of hours of very enjoyable fishing.